Hi, welcome back to Annalise Maths. Today we're going to do a full walkthrough of paper 1 on the Edexcel website, past paper 1, for entry 3. I would recommend that you've already done this paper and you're using this to check your answers. If you haven't been able to get access to the paper, please pause each question, have a go at you yourself, and then listen to the walkthrough. So let's have a look. We'll look at the non-calculator part first, so section 1. Amir is doing an IT course. He does the course for 9 months and he pays £86 each month. Amir says the course will cost more than £750 in total. So if he's doing the course for 9 months and it's going to cost £86 per month, I know that's a multiply. I'm going to use the column method. If you use a different method, that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to do my 86 times 9. Now I'm already at mark number 1 for knowing what type of calculation I need and for showing my calculation sign. 9 times 6 is 54, so I'm going to put my 4 down and carry my 5. 9 times 8 is 72. 72 plus my 5 is 77. So in total, the course is going to cost him £774. Now, Amir says the course is going to cost more than £750. Is Amir correct? He is indeed correct, as that course is going to cost £774, which is more than £750. So mark number 1 was for my multiply, mark number 2 was for my 774 and my tick of the yes. Amir has 103 days to finish a project. He works 7 days a week on the project. How many weeks and days does Amir have to finish the project? Now, if it's going to take him 103 days and he's working 7 days a week, I need to know how many 7s go into 103. So it's a divide. So 103 divided by 7. Again, I'm at mark number 1 for knowing what type of calculation I need. So how many 7s are in 1? There isn't any. Carry my 1. How many 7s are in 10? Well, 1 7 is 7. So there's 1 7 in 10 with 3 remainder. How many 7s are in 33? 7, 14, 21, 28. So there's 4 7s in 33 with 5 left over. So I know then that my answer is that it takes him 14 weeks and 5 days to complete this project. Now again, I'm at mark number 1 for knowing my calculations are divide, mark number 2 for either the correct number of weeks or the correct number of days, and mark number 3 was for getting all of my figures correct. Amir created a mobile phone app for his project. These are the number of downloads for his app in April and May. So in April he had 328 downloads and in May 496 downloads. Calculate the total of these numbers. So because it says total, I know it's an addition. So I need to do 328 add 496. Now again, I'm already at mark number 1 for knowing what type of calculation it is that I needed to do. So 8 plus 6 is 14, so I'm going to put my 4 down, carry my 1. 9 plus 2 is 11, plus my 1 is 12, so 2 down, carry my 1. 4 plus 3 is 7, plus my 1 is 8, so 824. So mark number 1 was for my calculation, mark number 2 was for 824. So question 4, the total number of downloads in June was 976. A quarter of these downloads were in the first week of June. How many downloads were in the first week of June? Now I know a quarter is 1/4. And to work out a quarter of 976, I need to do 976 divided by 4. So 976 divided by 4. Again, I'm at 1 mark for knowing that it's a divide. So how many 4s in 9? There's 2, 4, 8, remainder 1. How many 4's in 17? 4, 8, 12, 16. So there's 4, remainder 1. How many 4's in 16? It's 4 again, because 4, 8, 12, 16. So mark number 1 was for my sum. Mark number 2 was for my answer, 244. So that was the non-calculator section. As I said, we would have got 25 minutes for this. Let's have a look at our calculator questions. So for this one, we've got 75 minutes and we are allowed a calculator for it. I do recommend you do use a calculator on the calculator paper as much as possible to save any small errors. Amir starts a new job in an IT company. The clock shows at the time he arrives at work. What time is on the clock? And we've got some options here. So let's have a look. Before we look at the options, let's have a look. So it's not 9 o'clock yet. So my hour hand is not yet on the 9 o'clock. And my minute hand is on the 35. So I know that it's 8:35. In the morning. So let's have a look at my options that I've got. So I've got 7:43, it's not that. 25 to 9. 8:25, it's not 8:25, and 25 past 9, it's not that. Now 8:35 can also be 25 to 9 because I'm saying it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes before 9 o'clock. So it's 8:35, otherwise known as 25 to 9. So that's a 1 marker for ticking the correct option. Question 2. Amir wants to put speakers next to the computer on the desk next to the computer screen on his desk. The arrow shows the width of the space available on his desk. The width of the screen is 540 millimeters and the width of the speaker is 8 centimeters. Will the screen and speaker fit in the space? Show why you think this. Now, first of all, we have an arrow pointing at something that's not labeled. So mark number 1 is for identifying what this arrow is pointing at. So let's have a look. I know this is 60 and this is 65. So could it be going up in ones? 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. It is. It's going up in ones. So I know this arrow is pointing at 63 centimeters. Now that was my first mark for identifying that. Now on this next one, I've got the width of the screen is 540 millimeters. The width of the speaker is 8 centimeters, and this is 63 centimeters. So I've got 2 things that are in centimeters and 1 thing that's in millimeters. So I need to change them all into the same. Now it doesn't matter if I change them all into millimeters or all into centimeters. I'm going to change them into centimeters because then I only need to change 1 instead of changing 2. Now there's 10 millimeters is 1 centimeter. So to get from millimeters to centimeters, I'm dividing by 10. So 540 millimeters is the same as 54 centimeters. So I need to work out whether the screen and the speaker is going to fit in this space. So I've got 54 centimeters for my screen and 8 centimeters for my speaker. So I'm now at mark number 2 for knowing that I need to add these 2 together. So 8 plus 4 is 12, so 2 down, carry my 1. 5 plus 1 is 6. So my speaker and my screen is going to need 62 centimeters. And we know he has 63 centimeters of space. So will 62 centimeters fit into 63? Yes, it will, because 62 is smaller than 63, so it will fit in. So I was getting mark number 1 for identifying 63 centimeters on my ruler. That was my mark number 1. Mark number 2 was for then knowing it was an addition, and mark number 3 was for getting yes, 62 and 63. Okay, let's have a look at this question. Amir needs a laptop. He chooses the laptop with the least weight. Which laptop does Amir use? So I've got 6 here, and I need to find which one of these is the smallest. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite them because I feel that I can understand things better when I've written them out again and I'm able to have my place value under each other. So 1.77 and 2.04. Because they're not all the same size, I'm going to add zeros to my ones that only have one number after the decimal point. Then because they're all the same size, I find it easier to compare. I haven't changed the value because don't forget 0 is a placeholder, not a number. So this number said 2 ones, 1/10 and no hundredths. So by adding a 0 there, still says the same number. So he wants the least one. So the first thing, if I want the smallest of these numbers, I can get rid of my 3 that start with a 2. Now I've got 1.80, 1.83 and 1.77. So I'm going to look at my ones columns. They're all a 1, so that doesn't help. Look at my tenths. I've got an 8, an 8 and a 7. So it's quite clear now that 1.77 is the least weight. So that would be the laptop that would be the least weight. Okay, Amir wants to make a game app. The chart shows the number of different types of downloads of different types of apps. So this is my chart here. There were 950 downloads of the Games app. Amir says there were more downloads of the Games app than the total downloads of sport and travel. Is Amir correct? So first thing I need to do is read my graph and see what sports and travel is. Now, I know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little lines is going to give me 100. So is it going up in tens? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50? Nope. Is it going up in 20s? 20, 40, 60, 80, 100? Yes, it is. So each of these little lines is indicating 20. So which two did I need? Sports and travel. So sports. So if I look at sports, it's at 700 and then 2. So sports is 747. So I've got 700, 720, 740. So let's have a look at travel. It's 100, 120, 140, 160, 180. So I've got 740 for sport and 180 for travel. Mark number 1 is for identifying those two numbers correctly. So he says there was more downloads of Games app than the total of sports and travel. So I need to add those two digits together. So 180 plus 740. So 0 plus 0 is 0. 8 plus 4 is 12. 2 down, carry my 1. 7, 8, 9. So 920. Mark number 2 was for knowing I needed to do an addition here. If I had not got both numbers correct, let's say I read my graph wrong and got 180 and 750. If I only had one of these numbers correct, but knew it was an addition, I would get 1 mark for that. But at the moment, I'm on 2 marks because I've got both my numbers correct and I've added them together. Now I need to make a comparison. So Amir says there were more downloads of Games app. Well, there's 950 games apps and 920 sports and travel. So yes, he's correct. There is more games apps than there is sports and travels apps. Oops. So question 5. The clock shows the time Amir starts working on the app in the morning. He works on the app for 3 hours and 30 minutes. What time does he finish working on the app? So I'm going to use my clock to my advantage. So he started at 10 o'clock and it's 3 hours and 30 minutes. So let's add my 3 hours first. So 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. So 3 hours would be 1 o'clock. Plus 30 minutes will be 1:30. So what time does he finish? He finishes at 1:30. Now it tells me to use correct time format. So I know it's 1:30, but I know that that was 10 o'clock in the morning that he started. So I'm now 1:30 in the afternoon. So it will be 1:30 p.m. I could also write it in 24-hour clock. I could also write it as 13:30. Now I'm getting 1 mark for my 1:30 and 1 mark for my PM. That's my 2 marks. If I've written 13:30, I'm getting 2 marks for my 13:30. One of the common mistakes that I see is people write 13:30 PM. If I've written 13:30 PM, that's incorrect time format and I would only get 1 mark. So I need it as 1:30 PM or 13:30. Question 6. Amir makes a games app. A player goes up a level in the game when they get enough points. So for level 2, they need 30 points. For level 3, they need 45. For level 4, they need 60. How many points does a player have when they get to level 5? So I know this is going up in a pattern. It tells me it's a pattern, so I know that's a sequences question. So I need to find out what's happening each time. So to get to 30 to 45, it's going up 15. 45 to 60, it's going up 15. So if he gets another 15 marks, he'll be on level 5. So 60 plus 15 is 75. So I'm getting 1 mark for knowing that that was 75. The game app will show a compass on the screen. Which direction does the arrow point? Now they've kindly already identified north for me, so I'm going to fill in the rest of them. So north, so I always remember naughty elephants squirt water. So north, east, south, west. Now in between the west and the north, I know is called northwest. So northwest. I can write it as northwest. I would have still got the marks if I'd written NW, but I'm going to write it out fully. The most common mistake I see with this question is people writing west north. Your north or your south always comes first, so it's northwest. Amir chooses a shape to show the points scored in the game. Which shape has only one line of symmetry? Okay, so a line of symmetry is like a reflection line or a mirror line. Now let's have a look at this first one. It would have a line of symmetry there, so if I folded it, that would be identical. But it would also have a line of symmetry there, so that's got 2 lines of symmetry, so it's not that one. Same with this one. I'd have a line of symmetry there and a line of symmetry there, so it's not that one. Oh, same with this one. Line of symmetry there and a line of symmetry there. This one would have a line of symmetry there, so if I folded that, it would be exact. It wouldn't have a line the other way. So this one, my trapezium, only has the 1 line of symmetry. Amir finishes his game app. The table shows the number of downloads of the app. So I've got the month, September, October, November and December, and how many downloads were in the UK, Europe and the rest of the world. Which month had the greatest number of downloads in Europe? Okay, so it's Europe that I'm concentrating on. So it's these numbers here. I can ignore all of the others. And I want the greatest one, so I want the biggest one. So I'm going to look at my hundreds. I've got a 4, a 6, an 8 or a 6. So my 8 is the biggest one. So that month is November. So November would have the greatest number of downloads in Europe. Amir has this information about the income from his games app. So I've got September, October and November and the income in thousands of pounds. He needs to show this information on a line graph. Complete the line graph and use the correct scale. So I've got my months already on there, and I've got my income going up the side, but there's nothing marked on it. Now I know all graphs need to start from 0. So let's have a look. What's the highest number I need to go up to? The highest number I need to go up to is 23. So what if I went up in fives? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That would be enough. So I'm going to go up in fives, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Mark number 1 is for doing my correct scale. Mark number 2 then would be for plotting my graph. Now I know it's a line graph, so it's the one where I do the little X's and join them together with a ruler. So September, I need 12, so 10, 11, 12. So September, I need 12. October is 15. And November is 20, 21, 22, 23. So when I'm joining lines together, it's very important that I follow a few rules. I must always use a ruler. Now, I can't do this on the computer, so I'm going to try and do it the best I can and join these lines together straight. That was disgraceful. So I've used my ruler and joined my lines together straight. Do them as 2 separate lines. Don't try and do them in one go. That would get me both my mark. The most common lost mark I see is for some reason people then feel the need to join it to the 0. You don't need to do that. Your line graph should just be floating in the graph. It doesn't need to be joined to the 0, and it doesn't need to then go off the other end of the graph. You just need to plot September, October, and November. Okay, question 11. People say what they think about the Games app. So we've got all of these nice positive words. Complete the frequency table to show what the players think. Now, frequency just means the number of times something's happened. So there's nobody thought was poor, 2 people thought was fair, 7 thought good, 5 thought very good. We need to fill in excellent. That's the one that's missing. So let's have a look. Excellent. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've got 10 people thinking it was excellent, and that was my 1 mark. I'm going to have another look through to see if there's any I haven't crossed out. There isn't any. One of the other things I can do to double check I'm correct is add these up. So 10 plus 5 is 15, plus 7 is 22, plus 2 is 24. So is there 24 in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 12, 18, 24. Yes, there's 24 in total, and this adds up to 24. Question 12. Amir checks the number of processors running on his laptop. So when he started work, he had 208 processors, and after an hour, he had 321. How many more processors were running after 1 hour than when Amir started work? So I need to know how much bigger this second number is compared to the first one. So I'm doing a subtraction. So 391 take away 208. Don't forget, this is a calculator paper, so you are allowed to use a calculator for this. I'm going to do it without. So I can't take 8 away from 1, so I'm going to borrow 1 from this too. So that then becomes a 1, and this becomes 11. So 11 take away 8 is 3. 1 take away 0 is 1. And 3 take away 2 is 1. So there's 113. Again, I got mark number 1 for knowing it was a subtraction, and mark number 2 was for my 113. Round 208 to the nearest 100. Now, when I'm rounding to the nearest 100, my most important value is my tens value. Don't forget my rules. 5 or above, round up. 4 or below, leave it alone. So because a 0 is lower than a 4, it stays. So it's going to be 200. So it's like saying, is 208 nearer to 200 or 300? It's nearer to 200. Use your rounded number to check your answer to question 12. So what it wants me to do is it wants me to do the exact same sum I've just done for question 12. So I've done a subtraction, but replace 208 with 200. So instead of 321 take away 208, I'm going to do 321 take away 200. 1 take away 0 is 1, 2 take away 0 is 2, 3 take away 2 is 1. So by doing the same calculation again, but using my rounded number, I've got myself the mark. Amir wants something to drink. He can choose 1 bottle or 2 cans. Does the bottle have more drink than the 2 cans? So I want to know if the bottle is bigger than the 2 cans. Now the bottle has 0.5 litres in and the cans are both in millilitres. So I'm going to change everything to millilitres. So 0.5 of a litre. Well, I know that 1 litre is 1,000 millilitres. So 0.5 litres is half a litre, so that's 500 millilitres. So I need to show that I've converted that. So now, do the 2 cans contain less than that? Let's see. So I need to do 330 plus 330. I could have done 330 times 2, but I'll just add them. So 0 plus 0 is 0, 3 plus 3 is 6, and 3 plus 3 is 6. So my 2 cans contain 660 millilitres. So that's my cans. And my bottle contains 500 millilitres. Now, does the bottle have more? No, the bottle's got less. So no. To get the marks on this one, mark number 1 was for knowing that I needed to compare. So I needed my 330 plus 330, or my 330 times 2, and my 500. So whenever you get a question like this, you always need to write your conversion down. So I need my 330 and 330 and my 500 for mark number 1. And for mark number 2, I needed my no and my 660. Amir has £75 to buy new software. He spends £48.90 on the software. How much does Amir have left over? Use correct money format. So it's telling me there I need to use the correct money format. So 75 take away 48.90. I'm going to do this on a calculator. And if I do that, I get 26.1. So I'm currently on mark number 2. Mark number 1 was for knowing it was a subtraction, and mark number 2 was for my answer. Now, because I've done it on a calculator, the calculator doesn't know that I'm dealing with money, so it's not going to give me figures that I don't necessarily need. So I know that that says £26.10. So I need to always remember to add my 0 if it's only one number after the decimal point. Money should always have 2 numbers after the decimal point. And also, I need to remember my pound sign so it's in correct money format. So £26.10. If I'd left it at 26.1, I would have only got 2 of the marks. Now, last question, round £48.90 to the nearest pound. So £48.90 to the nearest pound, I'm looking at my 10p's. So is it nearer to £48 or £49? Because that's a 9, it's going to round up. So £48.90 to the nearest pound would be £49. If you write 49.00, that's fine, but it's not needed. So £49. Now this paper in total was out of 36, so there was 36 marks in total. The pass mark for this particular paper at the time was 24 out of 36. So 24 out of 36 was the pass mark over both papers. The whole thing, both part 1 and part 2, was out of 36. So thank you very much for watching my video of watching this walkthrough. If you've got any questions at all, please pop them in the comments section. And also please like and subscribe. So thank you very much for your time, everybody.